Okay, because there is a difference between your vote got counted versus my vote got counted and it was for Trump. All right, we've got Sonny Borrelli. He's a state senator in Arizona, and he knows probably more than anybody about what happened in the Arizona election on November 3rd, 2020. So I have three specific questions, Sonny, and the first one is regarding the audit itself. How much of the actual election, how much of the process can be audited?
We've audited the whole thing.
I mean, what parts of the process can you not go back and verify? For example, when you take a ballot and you tear it apart.
Right. Once, like a mail-in ballot, or somebody took a ballot and just dropped it off in the envelope. So
yes.
Once you separate the ballot from the envelope, you can't marry the two up again, ever.
Right. So it's
just impossible.
What percentage would you say, really you couldn't go back and re-verify?
Well, every ballot that got submitted in either an envelope, even if you go early voting, I'll go in my district, I go to the polls, early voting, they pull out the ballot, I show my ID, they give me my ballot, it's in an envelope, and I go back and I vote and seal it up and I put it in the box, sign it, put it in the box.
Right.
But once you separate the ballot from the envelope, there's no way to put them back together. And same thing with mail-in ballots. Once you submit it gets submitted. Once you separate those ballots, you can't put them back together.
What do they do for the audit? I mean, in terms of going back and trying to verify what happened.
Well, there's the example. I'm not going to. You vote privately, you count publicly. So there's no way I'm going to be able to find out how you voted by mail. But there's no way to find out how you voted. So, but there's ways to figure out that. Wait a minute, this is an illegitimate ballot because it came in when the envelope, no signature on it. See, so a ballot got sent in the mail, or they dropped it off at a polling center in the envelope, but there's no signature on it. But what happened is when it got to the election department, they opened up the ballots and just allowed the no signature ballot to be submitted.
Right.
And once that happens, you can't put them back together and go, well, how'd that person vote to throw that out?
And
of course they know that. They know that. That's how if you want somebody who's going to cheat, they're going to do that.
And so as a citizen, there's never a way to go back and validate that your vote, the way that you voted,
not in 2020.
Actually,
no, not in 2020.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, not in 2020. There's no way to figure out how you voted, obviously. But that's the things legislatively we need to fix.
Yeah.
Arizona came up with a ballot, you just can't counterfeit it. There's just no way to counterfeit it. You can't Xerox it off and run it through a bunch of copies and stuff in the box because there's ways to verify.
Right.
But there's a way for you to track your ballot. That's our system. You can scan it for your QR code, and this way you know what number it's your number. They're all random anyway. But you know how you voted, and you can check to see if your vote got counted. That kind of thing. These are the things that Arizona's doing prospectively for the next election to try to make sure that we have more of integrity on the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there is a difference between your vote got counted versus my vote got counted and it was for Trump. So
that's the controversy where they're saying, well, things got changed. They got changed in cyberspace.
Yeah.
They got somebody changed them on the computer. Totals. I mean, there's a lot of things that. This was not a recount. We did a full forensic audit of the whole process, how things were. We've got people that will testify, that witnessed when they were counting the ballots and looking at the bubbles on the ballots. They could actually, it was a no-brainer. They could tell that it was not bubbled in by a human hand, that it was obviously somebody made a copy of a ballot and got that in the system. We had ballots that had to be adjudicated, a high adjudication rate because the inferior paper, they used a Sharpie on election day, and it bled through. It had to go through the adjudication process, which means somebody else is interpreting your intention how you want to vote.
Send them all through.
Yeah.
Okay. How many people do you believe are actually qualified to do the audit from the electronic side for Dominion? actually being able to go in and see exactly what happened, especially with the limits that the companies have in terms of what they will show you.
Well, we don't want.
Because there's two different angles there. There's,
Well, there's the angle that the leftist media is putting out that the cyber ninjas or Cypher are a joke and they don't have the credentials to do audits. Yeah, which is it's amazing because the company Cypher, they've got these guys got credentials longer than this table, and the same thing with cyber ninjas. These guys they're cybersecurity experts, DoD experts. I mean their credentials are impeccable, but they have the expertise to figure out history. Number one, for example, they've got evidence of data being deleted. So, and even the county did admit they deleted some data, but they put it archived it, even though they were not even supposed to do that. So, this is the evidence being turned over to the Attorney General, and we're going from there. So.
Okay, great. I used to be in the software world, so I do understand that many people aren't qualified. I do believe those particular people were qualified, but I'm just saying in general, it can be hard to find the right person who really knows what's happening in order to audit correctly.
Exactly right. Now, to do an audit, you're supposed to have the people being audited are supposed to be kind of like they're not supposed to be adversarial. They're supposed to but they've been completely adversarial. So know exactly what I'm talking about. With the biggest fight that I've been having is I'm getting a hold of those routers.
Yeah.
Because the county is saying, well, we can't give you the routers or access to the routers because there's law enforcement sensitive data on there from the sheriff's office that could compromise ongoing investigations or officer safety. Or, for that matter, data on the health department could compromise privacy, HIPAA law, or personnel data from the Department of Personnel Department. That's not the kind of data that's going to be on a router. It's only supposed to be a timestamp of IP address, MAC addresses. It's internet traffic. Yes. Has no data on there, but that's the lie that they've been perpetrating, and the media's been perpetuating that lie.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you for what you're doing.
But we're going to get what we want. We're not going to surrender. We're going to stay focused. We're ignoring the noise by the leftist media, and every leftist organization has been trying to shut us down from day one. This is not a Republican Democrat thing. This is an American people thing. Because I serve at the consent of the governed, and if that consent, your vote, has been compromised, we need to get to the bottom of this. Because now we're no longer a constitutional republic; we're a banana republic. We're not having elections; we're having appointments and selections, and that's just wrong.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.